Hello, welcome to this technical training webinar about GP Pro EX version 5 from Proface. A note about availability of GP Pro EX version 5. The download is available now. The licenses availability depends on your location throughout the world. Just a very brief agenda here, not too many points to put into an agenda. We'll go over the new features in the newly supported items in version 5, and then we'll talk a little bit about the new licensing in the new HMI license manager. Okay, new features. So here is a numeric list of all the new features in GP Pro EX version 5. The items highlighted in yellow are the items that we will focus on. The other items might be interesting, and they for sure are interesting, but not going to be the main focus for this webinar. You're welcome to, I will still show the information about these features, and you're welcome to stop the video if you would like to read through those additional features. Okay, here for sure, this is one we're going to talk about getting into it, is new hardware support. So one of the main things of GP Pro EX version 5 is the support for the new GP 6000 standard series HMI. It has some limitations here, which you can see in this slide. And then over here on the right-hand side, you can see we have some major unsupported features that we help to take care of as soon as possible. Okay, moving on, also under the topic of hardware support, we're going to support more functions in the ST6000 in the ET6000 series. So you can see for the ST6000 series, a newly supported function is the XY graph. And then you can see for the ET6000 series, we're supporting FTP server now, email, viewer, pro server, and again, and additionally the XY graph. Okay, so some new features as version 5 in how we're supporting this. So version 5, of course, is installed as GP Pro EX version 5. This version can coexist with version 4.09, so both versions can exist on your PC environment at the same time. But you cannot save back in version 5 to version 4. So if you're creating something in version 5, you're in version 5. You can't go back to 4. Where if you have a version 4, then that will open in version 5. But of course, if you save it in version 5, you cannot go back. Okay. Okay, you can see here there's a new logo, image, icon, and we're also going to stop supporting some legacy items as far as the installer goes, right? So the Camure viewer, the easy fingerprint stuff are not provided anymore. And then the remote HMI server, which used to be here, you can now download that from the download page. And then another one is we are going to stop to support this list here of legacy HMIs. Okay, again, here's something we're not going to dwell on, but like I said, you're welcome to pause the video. Some numeric and display improvements, some indirect addressing for bit switch groups. Again, okay, new library in the shape browser. Look for more additional libraries to come. Okay, here is one thing that we will talk about just to make everybody aware of this. Is there is when you do start a new project now, you will be prompted to create a system and enable enhanced password has a system password. As you'll notice, you can uncheck the box and bypass it if you'd like, but we will ask you that up front. And then another thing to note is that by default in the project wizard, the LAN port will be closed for basically all functions. So basically you'll be left with transferring via Ethernet or USB, or sorry, either USB or USB stick or a USB cable, not Ethernet. So make sure if you want to transfer via Ethernet that you open the port. One other thing kind of down here is a little bit of if you've had issues in the past transferring projects from your PC to an HMI, you can see here there are some stateful FTP settings in the Windows Defender firewall that we will now give you a little user interface to modify those settings if you're having issues downloading. Okay, another one for Japanese language visibility. Okay, couple of cybersecurity notes. So updates to that. Proface Connect update. Okay, so here's sort of a large, kind of a major new feature supported in version 5, and that is the support of OPC UA server. So we're now supporting a standardized protocol, which is becoming more and more widely used. Okay. Right. So what hardware will support OPC UA today in this first release in version 5? So currently it will be the SP5000 series, the non-Windows targets, and then the ST6000 series, and then the GP6000 series for the first release. Okay, so what does it look like? This is actually what you'll notice here is that the OPC UA server will actually consume a driver. So make note of that. So depending on your model, some HMI models support 2 drivers and some HMI models support 4 drivers. So this could perhaps have an impact. And then you can see here, so other than the fact that it's occupying a driver, this is just showing you a little basic diagram of what this would actually look like. Right, you're going to have OPC UA clients hitting the HMI as an OPC UA server sharing PLC data to these clients. And then you can see the SP5000 and 6000 will serve up to 10 UA clients, and then the ST6000 will serve up to 5. Okay, and here's just some more screenshots about how that looks like. Okay, as a protocol driver. Here's showing you that it is supporting full security. You can see it's supporting all these security schemes over here on the right, and you can see here that it is giving you the ability to manage your certificates between your clients in your servers. Okay, so here's the next part of looking at the OPC UA server. So basically what is happening is in this symbol variable list, if you're aware of what this is, what you will have now with the OPC is for all the different symbols, which in GP Pro world, a symbol is a name, a free name that you create tied to a physical controller address. Okay, and then you can see what happens here is now what you have in the symbol variable list is you have a data sharing column where you can say whether this data will be shared as a read only or as a read write, and then you're going to declare what the data type is for the OPC as far as how it will be exposed to the different OPC clients, and the same thing is this OPC alias will allow this name to be exposed as a different, basically essentially a different name has an OPC alias. Okay. All right, so just some notes. Basically, you can take an existing project and add the driver, and then just make the changes that you'd like, or make the additions that you like to the symbol table to an existing project. You will be able to eventually have an individual installer. So if there's updates to the OPC UA driver, we'll be able to update that separately from the GP Pro. Okay, and then some notes. Okay, this is sort of if you're going to be doing any kind of secure connectivity where you're exchanging server and client certificates, make sure that you set the HMI clock, because now the certificates, when the certificates get created in the HMI, it's going to use the clock setting. So Many clients, if the clock in the certificate, if the time in the certificate is not correct, the client is going to say, no, I'm not going to connect to you. Okay, and then currently in this first release, we're not supporting any kind of user management. Okay, so that's all about OPC UA. Just here's some quick stuff about driver updates for version 5. Again, you can pause the slide. The big ones are the Siemens for TIA Portal 20 and the for Rockwell the version 36 L5K import. Okay. All right. So here another key point to EX version 5 is we're changing the license from a key code to a Schneider license using the HMI license manager, and we'll show you that here in a second. So what does the GP Pro EX editor for version 5 look like? So there will be 2 version types provided. Okay, there will be a trial version that you can use for 10 days for all HMI models, and you cannot transfer to the HMI. It's just so basically you can do some development in trial mode on all HMI models. The next one is there will be a free version, and the free version it can be used, and of course you can download and everything with the free version, but that can only be used with basic model HMIs, and we will show you what that looks like here in a couple of slides. Okay, and then what happens is after you activate the license in the HMI license manager, then you are going to basically put basically into full licensed version. Okay, for WinGP, which is the Windows runtime for GP Pro EX, we're supporting 2 types of licenses. So we're still going to support the key codes from version 4.09. Or you can use the new system like we're doing here for the editor, and we can activate the runtime license in the HMI license manager. Okay, so some more things about this new HMI license manager software tool. Okay, so this will require a My Schneider account to manage and view your licenses. Okay, that does offer some advantages. We'll show you in a couple bullets here. Okay, the tool, you don't have to worry about installing it. The tool will be installed with version 5 as part of the install process. So that's going to come along. You're not going to have to make any special revisions to get it. Okay, one note that we're going to put right here: with this new license system, you will not need a USB dongle now for non-Proface Windows runtime WinGP targets. Okay, and then here's because we're going to have this My Schneider account, and the HMI license manager software tool will allow you to activate and deactivate your software. So you now be able to move your licenses from one computer to another basically on your own through an activation and deactivation process. And then the activations for the software, you'll be able to do that online. So very simply, if your computer that you're licensing the software is online to the internet, it's a very simple process to activate this software. But in the cases where that computer may not be connected to the internet, you do have the ability to do an offline activation, although you will need at least one computer to connect to the internet to basically get the key or / unlock file to unlock the offline computer. Okay, so what does this look like in a different picture, right? So with the current system, you have a limited edition, all hardware targets, no download, basically runs forever. And then you have license, which is all possible targets but requires a license. Now with the new system, you're going to have a trial for 10 days, and then you can activate this with the HMI license manager. There also will be the free version, limited to basic targets, no license required. And then the full, which is all possible targets but requires a license. Okay, so for WinGP today, you have a trial version that stops after 3 hours, and then if you're licensed, of course, it runs with no limitations. And that's very similar to what we'll have today. Is we'll have a trial version that will stop after 3 hours, and of course, when it is licensed with whichever method, then it will run with no limitation. Okay, so the new license scheme looks like this again. So for the build time, we have the free models. We have the entry HMI series, the ET6000. Okay, then we have the compact HMI series, the GP4100. Those are the free models for the free edition, no license required. The paid models are going to be the advanced offers, the 6000, 5000, 4000, except the small ones from up here. And then these basic offers, the LT4000M HMI PLC combo with built-in I/O, and then if you want to build for the WinGP PC-based offer, you'll also need a paid license. Okay, for the WinGP Windows runtime, we're going to have a paid version for basically generic PCAT, and then a version for ProFace brand IPCs. Okay, so target applications for version 5. So what's changing to the new license system? That'll be the GP Pro EX build time will be changing to the new licensing system. The WinGP for ProFace brand for IPC will be changing to the new license system. And then also the WinGP for third-party PCAT, meaning non-ProFace brand, you will now be able to use it with the HMI license manager, and so we will not need the USB dongle anymore if you license in that way. What will continue to happen with using the current key code license system is you can also get the WinGP for the ProFace brand as it is today. You can do it for a generic third party with the same system that we have today with the license and the dongle. GP viewer licenses are staying the same. Remote HMI server licenses, video converter, etc. So all those licenses are staying on the current key code system. Okay, so what does that look like between when we had it before you were entering a serial number and key code, and now you're picking either the trial version or the free version? Then when we're licensing, you could see over here in the old way it was to enter a key code. And then today what we're going to do is when we want to, so say if we have the trial version and now we have a valid license, then we're going to we can launch the HMI license manager from within GP Pro to activate an already installed software. Okay, again, here's the free license in GP Pro, right? So currently that's just the same as the trial mode, but today we're going to be able to create projects for basic models only. So here you can see those small GP4000s and the ET6000s. Note that you will be able to open a non-supported model project, but you have to convert it to a supported model in order to do anything with it. This is what the new system will look like in WinGP, so you'll still be able to enter the existing key codes. If you want to do it with the HMI license manager, you can basically enter into a no key code, and then in the offline menu, we'll be able to launch the HMI license manager. But you can see we could still use the existing key codes if we want. Okay. So some points again. So when installing, some points about the HMI license manager. Again, when we install GP Pro and WinGP, the HMI license manager will also be installed. Note, when we uninstall either one of those or both, the HMI license manager will not be uninstalled. If you don't need it anymore, you're going to need to get rid of it separately and independently. And then this is just basically a point that the license manager behavior is not depending on GP Pro. It's depending on the HMI. It's depending on the license manager itself. It is a separate program. And then currently we are not providing any individual installer. So the only way you're getting it is through the installer of GP Pro. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful for you to understand some features and items in the new release of GP Pro EX version 5. So thank you for watching.